Hello everyone, Tim Doehrmann here, founder of Eagle Ridge Wealth Advisors. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of the tax code in the United States. And as an introduction, I love to use this video of this young man and how he feels about taxes in the game Monopoly.
Where's all your money gone, Daddy?
Taxes. 9, 10, 11. Let me fix my houses.
But it's okay. It's part of the game.
It's not. It's not fun.
It's not fun to what?
It's the worst part of the game.
It's what?
Taxes.
The worst part of the game. I think we can all relate to that young man to some extent. They might not be the worst part of the game, but they're certainly a part of the game that no one likes, right? No one loves paying Uncle Sam their taxes. And I'm going to talk a little bit now about the history of our tax code and how it pertains to us today. I wanted to start off today with a little bit of history of our tax code in the United States. Most people don't realize that before 1913, we didn't even have an income tax in this country. We actually had to pass an amendment for them to be able to charge an income tax, right? And so when they first implemented it, just like today, there were 7 brackets, but the 7 brackets were a lot different. When they first implemented it in 1913, again, the brackets were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And so obviously a lot different than today, right? Which is, it starts at 10, 12, 22, 24, 32, 35, and then 37. So lots changed, right? And actually back in 1913, if you would have had to have made the equivalence of over $11 million to be in that top tax bracket of 7%. So pretty big difference. And of course, when they implemented this was right when we were coming into the Gilded Age, which is basically the top 1% owned everything, right? But you had the tycoons and you had the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and they owned everything. And so they say, hey, look, these guys have too much, they control too much, so we need to tax them, right? The top tax rate went from 7% and then it went all the way up to pretty high. It got up to about, I think just under 90% there. And then of course we had in the 1920s, and of course we had the Great Depression, so the top tax rate came back down. And then what do we have? We have World War II, right? And then we had to pay for World War II because in World War II, for every dollar that we were bringing in, we were spending $1.08. So they're like, okay, we need to get more revenue coming in. So we came back, and then eventually they raised the top tax rate up into about 90%, a little over 90%, and it stayed that way for a while. Then it came back down to about 70 for a couple decades, and then in the 80s it came back down. This is the top tax rate and historically in our country. And then it came back down to about 40%, just under 40, and that's basically where it's been for the last few decades since the 1980s. Except today, after the COVID outbreak and the shutdowns and everything, and then pumping money into the system, for every dollar that we're bringing in, we're spending about $1.25, $1.30. And our tax rates are as low as they've been in 100 years. So I always like to frame this as how it pertains to today, right? So back then, in the 1940s, when they started raising the top tax rate, we had just had the World War II and spent a lot of money. We were bringing in, for every dollar we're bringing in, we were spending $1.08. Now for every dollar we're bringing in, we're spending about $1.25, $1.30. And our tax rates are as low as they've been in almost 100 years. So what do you think is going to happen in the future to our tax rates? They're going higher, right? Even if we do nothing right now, the TCJA that was enacted in 2018 is going to expire at the end of 2025. So at the beginning of 2026, if Congress doesn't do anything, and let's be honest, we can't really rely on this Congress for anything, tax rates are going higher automatically at the beginning of 2026 because the TCJA sunsets. Okay, so we're going to cover a little bit more about how this pertains to you and what's going to happen to your taxes in the future and how you may be sitting on a retirement tax bomb. And then, of course, how can we mitigate that tax bomb and shave off the rough edges of your lifetime tax liability so that you don't pay Uncle Sam too much. Thank you, and I'll talk with you soon.